2023 Cadillac Lyriq vs BMW iX, electric luxury SUV on-paper comparison. These two-row midsize luxury SUVs from Cadillac and BMW are more similar than different. Isn't it refreshing that, as more manufacturers introduce EVs across their lineups, every last one needn't be compared to a Tesla? To wit, we have the 2023 Cadillac Lyriq and the BMW 9, which are luxurious electric crossovers that don't directly compete with a Tesla. Why? For starters, these are two-row, mid-size rides, much larger than Tesla's compact Model Y, though both cost about the same, albeit with only 2 rows of seats compared to the 3-row Model X, which costs way more, or Rivian R1S. In short, there are now enough EVs out there that, go figure, they're competing amongst themselves in classes not challenged directly by the Teslafant in the room. With the Cadillac Lyriq and BMW's iX already reaching customers, we figured the time was ripe to see how these two similarly sized electric crossovers from rival luxury manufacturers stack up on paper. Platforms and styling. Both the Cadillac and the BMW ride on dedicated EV platforms that are new to their respective brands. The Lyriq uses General Motors' new Ultium component set, and the iX gets a heavily revised version of the CLAR bits that underpin most of BMW's modern, non-electric, lineup. In essence, its space frame is almost entirely unique, but regular BMW suspension bits and other componentry is bolted to it. This doesn't seem to hold the BMW back in terms of mass. Typically traditional internal combustion vehicles that are converted to EV power are heavier than optimized, from the ground-up efforts such as the Lyriq, but it and the Caddy are essentially the same weight. Cadillac has bestowed upon the Lyriq some of its best-looking styling in years, leveraging the SUV's long, low profile to great effect. It takes a few glances to get used to, but spend enough time looking at the Lyriq, and it's stunning. From its vertical LED headlights mounted low to its intricate array of taillights, yes, there are multiple, to the way its lean body sits on those big 22-inch wheels, 20s are standard. All of the exterior lighting, even the backlit grille, can be choreographed for a little visual drama when approaching, unlocking, or locking the Cadillac. Electronic door releases keep the flanks even cleaner. Simply press the metal tabs where the door handles normally might be, and the doors pop open. An elegant pull tab on the front door makes finishing this act a snap, though the rear solution is less couth, as you must lay your grubby hands on the tail edge of the rear door to pull it open. It's harder to even charitably describe the BMW's appearance. The shape is bulbous and heavy-looking, while the detailing, body surfacing, and lighting are just kind of odd. In short, while the Lyriq is different in a good way, the BMW zags in the opposite direction. Entry-level versions, riding on their smallish wheels and with less sporty body addenda, are worse off. On the upside, the iX is unmistakably something other than a conventionally powered BMW, with plenty of nods to past i-electrified models, including the i3-like tab linking the rear door glass to the quarter window and the interesting wheel designs, dimensions and cargo space. The two SUVs are remarkably close in size, with the Lyriq taking the edge in overall footprint, thanks to its longer 121.8-inch wheelbase, 196.7-inch length, and 77.8-inch width, which are 3.7 inches, 0.4 inch, and 1.7 inches bigger than the iX's dimensions. The BMW is notably taller, and looks it, with its roof reaching nearly 3 inches closer to the sky. If you're looking at the Cadillac and noting how it even looks longer and lower than the BMW, you're correct, it is, and those proportions carry over to its interior. As you can see in the chart below, the Lyriq beats the 9 in legroom front and rear, but delivers less headroom. The cabin is stretched north-south, but pinched vertically compared to the BMW. The duo are fairly close in rear seat shoulder room, with the Cadillac coming out on top, but that flips when you get to the front seats. Cadillac's lean styling also smushes the cargo dimension some, resulting in only 28 cubic feet of space behind the rear seats, or 61 cubes with those seatbacks folded. To be clear, the Lyriq's cargo hold is huge, but it just isn't very tall. The bulbous BMW of course comes out ahead here, with 36 cubic feet of space in back, or 78 with the rear seats flattened. What about frunks? Neither the Lyriq or the iX has a front trunk, as you'd find in, say, Tesla's Model X or Ford's new F-150 Lightning, or even a Rivian R1S. Power, range, and charging. At launch, the Cadillac Lyriq is only available in rear-wheel drive guise, though a dual-motor, all-wheel drive version is coming by year's end. For now, that relegates the Lyriq to a distant second place in the power matchup with the iX, which in its mainstream xDrive 50 guise comes standard with dual motors and AWD, with a combined output of 516 horsepower and 564 lb-ft of torque. BMW says this is good for a 4.4-second rip to 60 miles per hour. The Cadillac, on the other hand, delivers only 340 horsepower and 325 lb-ft from its single motor. That said, those specs outperform the BMW's rear motor, which makes 335 horsepower and 295 lb-ft, and the AWD Lyriq coming soon promises 500-some horsepower, which is right in line with the 9xDrive 50. But for now, the iX will smoke a Lyriq from a stop. Of course, BMW also sells the iX M60, a higher performance model that also starts at over $100,000, well beyond either the entry-level iX or the Lyriq. Think of that model as a natural competitor to a would-be Lyriq V-Series performance offering, if Cadillac were to give the Lyriq its V treatment in the future. For now, no equivalent Lyriq exists or has been confirmed, so we'll note only that the M60 brings a mighty 610 horsepower and 811 lb-ft of torque, dropping the iX's claimed 0 to 60 mph time to 3.6 seconds while chopping range to about 280 miles. Speaking of range, the rear-drive Lyriq is EPA estimated to go 312 miles per charge, while the iX can travel between 305 and 324 miles, depending on which wheels it's outfitted with. Cadillac fits the Lyriq with a 12-module version of its Ultium lithium-ion battery pack, which results in 102 kilowatt-hours of usable capacity. BMW gives the iX xDrive 50 a slightly larger 105 kilowatt-hour unit. The charging outlook for both SUVs is close. The Lyriq's DC fast charging capability tops out at a 190 kilowatts rate, which equates to about 76 miles of driving range in as little as 10 minutes of charging, while the iX's maxes out at 195 kilowatts, or 90 miles of range in 10 minutes. While the BMW can charge at up to 11 kilowatts on a 240-volt hookup, resulting in a 0 to full charge in 10 hours and 15 minutes, the Cadillac, with a special 100-amp charger, can do up to 19.2 kilowatts, loading in up to 52 miles of range per hour. Interior styling and features. While the Cadillac is outwardly more attractive than the BMW, that gap narrows inside, where the iX is less polarizingly styled than its exterior. The look is minimalist, with a display stretching from ahead of the driver to the center of the dashboard and relatively spare detailing around the air vents, door handles, and such that's available in an interesting bronzish gold finish. The center console cantilevers forward over an open stash space below, similar to in the Lyriq, and the transmission is operated via electronic buttons alongside BMW's iDrive control knob, though the screen also responds to touch inputs. BMW's interior is relatively airy, with plenty of glass area and a lowish beltline for a modern vehicle. A panoramic sunroof is standard, too, and has nifty electrochromic shading where the glass can be electronically darkened. Optional features include an 18-speaker Bowers and Wilkins audio system, or, for less, an 18-speaker Harman Kardon system, a 360-degree parking camera, and a head-up display with augmented reality navigation animations. Meanwhile, if the Lyriq is the first Cadillac you've stepped into in a few years, you might be shocked. The cabin is laid out similarly to the iX, with a large display yawning between the driver's side of the dash and the center stack area, but the materials, design, and presentation of this cabin are first-rate. This is the first Caddy in decades to get bespoke switchgear and materials not shared with lesser GM products, and it shows. Even the big screen, which looks like the one in the newest Escalade, is unique to the Lyriq, a 33-inch stunner that is touch-sensitive over its entire length. Like the BMW, there is a control knob on the center console for an alternate method of controlling the screen. Along with a volume knob, transmission controls are on a stalk on the steering column. Cadillac diverges from BMW in offering a row of physical, satisfying-to-use climate control buttons below the screen. Though their metal finish is sexy, it can glint a bit much in direct sunlight. The Lyriq also offers a Boomin 19-speaker AKG audio system, active noise cancellation with speakers in the front headrests that help cancel out unwanted frequencies using a quadrant of accelerometers, one per wheel, that measure road impacts in real time. As a result, the cabin is deathly silent, particularly for an electric car. GM's latest Super Cruise semi-automated highway driving system is included, with the enhancement that it can execute automated lane changes/passing maneuvers to maintain the speed set by the driver. Pricing. This is where the Cadillac Lyriq and BMW 9 diverge. The Lyriq starts at $62,990 in rear-wheel drive form, and $64,990 in all-wheel drive guise. Those prices are for 2023 models, for which order books have since been closed. For 2024s, which are available to order now, the Lyriq will cost about the same. Cadillac's website pegs the prices at around $60,000 for the rear-drive model and around $64,000 for the AWD version. At least for those who ordered a 2023 Lyriq, they're getting essentially loaded models and picking only the wheel design and paint colors, making these SUVs a relative steal. BMW is charging much more. The 9 xDrive 50 starts at $84,195, but keep in mind that it comes standard with AWD, though still for some $20,000 more than the Lyriq with dual motors. The even more powerful 9M60 starts at over $100,000. While we've yet to put these two head-to-head in an actual comparison test, based on our early impressions of both the Cadillac and the BMW, and looking at their specs on paper, we can say this: the EV market is only getting started. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more such videos.